Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, today's the day I'm going to attempt to put everything back on this car here. So this will be part 2 of the front end replacement for the Mini Cooper. So as you can see, I already have the hood on there. It's like a silver gray color, the stripes on the old car. This one is white. So see what I can do about that. I don't know if I can sand that off or just mask it off and spray it white. Who cares? Whatever. All right, so let's get the Dart out of the garage. We'll park the Dart outside, although they are predicting snow for today. So I don't know. Sky looks pretty clear. The sun is out. We'll see. Supposed to go up to 40, 41 today. So my heat is on. The grill is here. I was thinking before I put this in, I'm just gonna sand all this down, scuff it up a little bit, prime it, and paint the whole thing trim black, just to get rid of all the chrome. So yeah, and these are just pop right in, so I can do this later. All right, you know what? Let me get this stuff out of here. We'll get this Dart out. We'll be back in the Mini. See you in a minute. Okay, excuse me. Got everything out of the way. Let's get this Dart out of here. Hate to leave this outside, but the other garage has a dead Magnum RT. All right, pump the throttle 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Put the key in, wait a few seconds, open the window. All right, so when I start the car, I immediately have to put it into drive and get it out of here because of the fumes. It'll set off the alarm, the smoke detector, and all the way down the road. Every single garage will go off. Then the fire department will show up, and I'll look silly. So, all right, let's turn the key. 1, 2. Oh, fail. There we go. Let's let this sit here for a little bit, let it warm up. All right, find the key. Key to the Mini is not here. Oh boy. Oh, here it is. Right in. I can't let this run either because it doesn't have any antifreeze. All right, hopefully this one will start up. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. Try to keep it centered. Go in as far as I can without knocking over the 727 transmission. There we go. And shut her down. That's not enough to overheat it. outside for now. Let's close this door because it's freezing. All right, so here's the plan. Hood is already in place. I'm not sure if I should take this heat shield off to check to see if there's an oil leak. It does have an oil leak. Or do I really care? I mean, I'm adding a quart a week. I'm buying that cheap stuff from Walmart. $4 a bottle. Who cares? Let it leak. It's got 152,000 miles on it. I changed the oil and filter. I'll just do the maintenance on it and keep adding a quart. I don't think it's worth all that work. The car's not that special to me. It's just economical and gets me where I need to get. All right, let me clean this up a little bit here. I'm not sure what these things are. There is one on each headlight, right? Just, it slides in and it locks in place. You got one here. The other one right here. All right, so I removed these from the old broken parts here, but on the parts I have outside, I just unplugged it. Not sure if I should unplug these and use the ones that are coming with that front end. And then again, I don't know what those things are. I don't see any airbag sensors here, so I'm thinking or assuming that this could be it. Because there is one sensor that lays here in the grill, but I believe that's for the temperature. Other than that, I don't see any other sensors. So I'm going to assume those are for airbags. Anyway, let me get it warmed up in here. It is just above 40 in the garage. It's about 29 outside. I usually wait till it gets around 60. So I can take off my jacket and hang out with a tank top, nice and warm. But yeah, give me a minute. I'll be back. Bye. Okay, so I have everything I need for now in the garage, except for the bumper cover. That can go on last. So the first thing to do is to put this whole one-piece unit in there with the headlights. Before I do that, I'm gonna have to grind these bolts off of here, because I tried to take it off and it just spins, so it broke loose here from the plastic. It's like a nut cert in there. So you got one there, and I believe this one here. If I don't do that now and wait until I put this all together, it's gonna be hard to adjust the headlights. So I'll replace them with stainless steel and use some anti-seize on them so they don't seize up again, because it seems to be like the ones on a corner. I guess that's where the water drips, and so they got rusty. They seized together, and when I went to turn them, they snap and they just spin. So let me get to doing that first, and then I'll put this in and plug it all up, you know, radiator hose, all the wiring. Not sure, I may have to go get the harness off the other car, because this one has two pumps in it, one over here. If you can see that right through there, that pump there is for this hose to spray the headlights. So I'll get the harness and extend the wires, and I don't know, maybe wire it right into the windshield washer, and when I hit that, they all spray. Anyway, I'll figure it out. If not, it doesn't matter if it works or not. All right, let me get started here. Okay, here's the update. So I have this portion of the front end in place. I replaced the one horn. I believe this is the high tone. It was here, so I used the old one, the one that came with the S. The turbo car did not work, so luckily I have all this out. Swapped it out. Here's the old one. That one's trash. Okay, the radiator hose I believe the radiator is slightly different, and so is the fan. So the hose that came on the bottom for the S model is short like that. So I used the one that came with this car. It fits okay. The top hose fits correctly. I do notice that the wire harness is different. This one stock is just power and ground, and then this one has some sort of resistor on it with another red wire. So I'm going to go get the harness off of the other one and just make sure that this comes on. I'm going to test this. Well, here it is. Here's the plug here. Wraps around, goes down in here. I don't know if it makes a difference in here. I'm not sure what this thing is for. Looks like a resistor. Looks like the wind blows on. So long as that fan comes on. So I'm just gonna cut this off and put the other one together and plug it in here so it looks stock. Also, what else do we have? The headlight washer. So it doesn't seem to have electrical wires here. I don't know what makes this piston. I guess it's the pressure from the water, right? That makes this piston extend. This opens up, sprays water here, or windshield washer fluid, but it needs the plug. So I'm gonna go back to the other car, disconnect the plug, keep the wires as long as possible, and then just splice it into the windshield washer wire, which is this one here. And that should work. If not, who cares? So the line runs this way, runs up, goes in here. Also, the headlights do not work. The running light does not work. The headlight do not come on. Signal lights do work. So I'm going to look at the harness on the other car and see what the differences is. I'm not sure if these are xenons or HIDs, whatever they call them. That could be a problem, but we'll figure it out. So what else? I think that's enough for the update. Oh, this bottle is exactly the same as the other one, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that back in place because it fits the same. All right, let me get to that. Okay, so I went and got the harnesses. So this is what I have. This one here is for the pump washer for the headlights. The wires are a little beefier, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to run them off of the windshield washer fluid pump. This may draw a little more amperage. So I'm going to extend the wires and use the power wire from the windshield washer as a trigger for a relay, and then they'll all come on. All right, so that'll take care of that issue there. All right, so that one's there. And then I also took out the fog light harnesses. This doesn't have a fog light button. The other car does, but I did put my own fog lights in there, and here's the wiring for that. So that's already wired up. All I have to do is run these right back down in here and hook the fog lights up. What else did I get? I got that, oh, and the fan harness and plug. So here's my original, red and brown, obviously. Brown being ground, red being power, which comes from a relay. And you have them both here, but I'm not sure what this wire is. I'm not sure if this needs to be powered in order to get that fan to come on 100%. Not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel these two back and power them up and see if that fan runs powerful enough, strong enough. All right, let me get back to work. You know, I could have been done with this already, but because I decided to wire this stuff up and do the fog lights and having to do this, is taking up an extra hour or two. So it's okay. It's still early in the day, and I'm full of energy. So I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do my best. See you guys in a minute. Okay, I got the booster cables on here. The ground is connected. Let's try it out. Oh boy. It's a little dangerous. Here we go. Sounds strong enough to me. Beautiful. All right. I'll put these two together and that'll be done. Also, if you look at this fan, look at that motor. It's a whole lot beefier than that one there. So I guess that's going to be a good thing. Turbo car, regular NA. Yeah, it'll keep it cool. All right, let me continue. Okay, we are in the home stretch. Everything is in place except for the bumper cover and grille. Let's see. All right, so nothing is tightened up. None of these bolts are tightened. I have them very loose. Everything is loose. Headlights, the catch here for the hood, everything is loose. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the hood and make sure that it's lined up. And if not, I can wiggle it and start tightening in place. Well, that's my idea. Not sure if that's the correct way, but I don't want to tighten it because it has a lot of play up and down and side to side. So I don't want to tighten it where it is because it may be crooked. It may be off from one side to the other. So I'm going to try it that way. I'm going to lock it in place with the radiator support there and then wiggle it around until I think it's nice and straight, lined up, and then start tightening bolts. But before that, I need to go get another gallon of European Vehicle Antifreeze Blue. I had a half a gallon here. Don't know, maybe I should get 2 gallons. Yeah, maybe I'll get 2 gallons. So let me go get that. And I'm going to run the car. I'm not going to put the bumper cover on here yet. As a matter of fact, let me take this off. Because I'm going to drive the car the way it is to make sure it doesn't overheat. And it doesn't have any leaks because it'd be easier to fix it now without the bumper cover and the grille. But everything is in place. The wiring here, this is for the sensor. I believe this is a temperature sensor. That's what it looks like to me. And then I have my fog light wires here. I'm going to use those to wire up the fog lights on the bumper. May have to order new ones because they look pretty corroded. I'm not going to put that back on there without new fog lights. And then I'll wet sand these here and polish them. Also, these are by Xenons. It says it right there. So I may have to add a resistor on each side just to get the headlights to turn on because I guess it doesn't draw enough current, so the body control module doesn't let it come on. I think that's what it is, but hey, I'll try it out. You know, you wire it in parallel and that's it. If they come on, they come on. I'm tired. But yeah, no, I can't wait to get it started and go up and down the street and see if she overheats. That's the only thing I'm worried about, overheating. Yeah. All right, let me go get this antifreeze and we'll be right back. Okay, 1 hour later, went and had lunch, picked up another gallon of Peak Blue antifreeze for European cars, and just wanted to keep it the same brand. Let's see how much more it's going to take. Look, it's emptied out the bottle there, and I don't see any leaks. So let's keep going. Hopefully it won't leak when it's under pressure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. Just let it go. I'm thinking it's going to take 1.5 gallons, maybe 2 gallons. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I can hear it burping itself. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, bloop. Come on. Alright, I got a little spillage. Alright, as soon as this tops off and it stops draining into the system, I'll start it up and immediately take it outside, let it run, and let it build some pressure. I wonder if it has a bleeder screw somewhere. I'm not familiar with these cars, and I don't see one. I'm not going to look for one. It is what it is. Whatever. Alright, let me do this and then I'll get it outside. Okay, so I went ripping down the street and this fender flare went flying off. Ripped it right off of there. Did it break anything? I don't think so, but that's okay because I'm going to swap it out anyway. See how this one's scuffed up? It's all scuffed up, so I'm just going to swap it out for the other one. Put that one on the other car. Yeah, it's going to be alright. Alright, let me make some adjustments, and I'm going to leave it running, see what happens. It did go down some, and I do not see any leaks. I'm going to sit here and wait for that fan to come on. Hopefully it works. Too bad this thing doesn't have a temperature gauge. It just, I think it has a light, I'm not sure. Somewhere in here. Maybe it's in here somewhere. Let's see. Let's see if I see anything that says temperature. Okay, you got airbag, brake, ABS, engine. Nothing that says temp. Great. I think that you can find the temperature in here somewhere, and it'll show on the display there, but I'm not too sure. Whatever. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so a few days later, it is finally completed. I know, I said I was going to take the grills and sand them down and paint them all flat black, but I just, you know, I was running out of time. I needed to get this done. Have to get back to work soon, so it's all together. It looks good. I'll tell you what I ended up doing. So before I put it all together, I ordered new fog lights. Remember, this car doesn't come with it. It's just a regular, you know, automatic Mini Cooper daily driver with the S front end. And the S front end came with the fog lights, so I decided to order some new ones. I put some LEDs in there. I changed out the bulbs just above it. You can see it to LED. And then the headlights, I could not get them to operate. After checking the harness on the other car, you know what? Let me shut the car off and these lights, because I know you can see them flickering. That's what happens when you record LEDs. So let's shut this off. Okay, so let me show you. While I'm in here, this is the fog light switch. I didn't go taking that other car apart to get the switch. I already had this in there for some Baja lights that I put on there the first time. The wiring is there, it's good. I used it for the fog lights. Maybe someday I'll put some more here and put all 4 of them. What the hell? Let's have fun with it. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so the headlights. Let me open the hood. So what I ended up doing was I checked out the harness on the other car. Apparently it's a whole lot different. I think that it has wiring in there for the little piston that washes the headlight. So I believe there's wiring in there. Plus they're bi-xenons. so the signal is different. So when I plugged my harness in, the car started acting up, and I had to disconnect them immediately because the doors were locking and unlocking by themselves. The trunk kept opening up while I'm going down the highway, and since the headlights they got hit were completely destroyed, I threw them in the recycle bin, and when you know it, a week later I had to go back in there and pick them up just to get the LED bulbs that I had purchased for them, because I decided to just throw everything away. So I went on Facebook Marketplace. Some guy was selling these for $100. I drove an hour away, South Jersey, and picked them up for $100. I ran the buffer on it with some Meguiar's Heavy Cut, and that's all I did. And all the yellowing went away. They actually look brand new. And it's going to stay that way. Unless, you know, I decide one day to, I still have the Bi-Xenons. Maybe I'll try to modify them and put them back in, because I think that'll look pretty nice. Anyway, so there she is. She's all done. Everything is in place. Everything looks original. It's all working, not overheating, no leaks. Fan does come on. And the color. So whoever had the wreck, not the wreck, but the car that I purchased, whoever had it, who knows, maybe the first, second, third owner, must have gotten into an accident, because the clip here is broken, and you can see it's epoxied in place, and you can see how it doesn't line up. I'll fix that in the springtime. No time for that right now. And the color, I don't know if you can see the difference. It's a little lighter, depending on the angle. If you look at it from this angle, it kind of matches better, but when you look at it from this angle, it's darker here. It's okay. It was repainted. You can see it here too. All right, so the bumper was repainted, the hood was repainted. I'm not sure if they redid the stripes. If they did, it must have happened a long time ago, because these stripes are completely shot. They're all cracked up. So it's not the right color. What I'm going to end up doing is sanding it down as smooth as I can without getting into the blue and the black pinstripe next to it. And then just cleaning it up and getting some Rust-Oleum spray paint and spray it, you know, mask it off, of course, and just spray it gloss white. And call it a day. But there she is, folks. She is finally back together. Oh, so I took her down the road, and I got behind a dump truck early in the morning, and a rock hit it right around here, and it split the windshield up here, stopped here. A day later, it went here. Another day, it went here. And then it ended up here. You see that little hole that I drilled? So I was told that if you drill a hole where it ends, it'll stop. And so I drilled a hole, but I was afraid to go through the windshield, so I stopped. The next day, it moved over here. So I came back with the Dremel and I drilled the hole a little deeper. And it's been a couple days. It has not moved. So she's going to stay just like that. I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, folks, that is part 2 of the Mini Cooper repair. There she is. She's got all the S markings, except for when you go in the back, you don't see the dual exhaust coming out the center. So, yeah, she's a fake. But it looks good. And it gets me where I need to go. So, good enough for me. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon, because the next thing to do is this right here. We're going to go ahead and remove this transmission and start installing the one that's been rebuilt. Hopefully I can get that done within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Anyway, folks, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.